This is Lanterns, a game where you are trying to build the most vibrant, festive, amazing lantern display with all of your other, lantern designers. On your turn, you will have 3 of these tile cards. You will not show other people until you use them. You will lay down 1 tile card as long as it touches one of the other tiles on the board. You can put it anywhere. Once you put down a tile, you will then hand out one of these cards to each of the other players, depending on where they are sitting around this tile card. For instance, I am sitting on this side, so I will get 1 blue lantern. The person to my left will get 1 purple lantern, a red, and then a green. Now, if you do happen to make a match, like I do here with the blues, I will get an additional blue card as well as a green card, since the green is facing me. I will then pull another lantern tile and move from there. There are also special tiles with little emblems on it. If you happen to make a match with this, you'll get 1 token. 2 of these tokens allows you to exchange any one of these cards for another color of your choosing. Why do you do all of this? So you can get these points. During your turn, you can turn any number of these cards into the points depending on which of the point systems that you happen to have. This one is for 4 of a kind, 1 of each, as well as 3 pairs. Once you turn them in, the cards go back into the piles. The game ends once all the tiles have been used and put out. You will then have 1 additional turn to turn in any of your cards and get any points left over. And that is Lanterns. Welcome to the Dungeon is a game about making it through the dungeon twice. Now, on your turn, you get to choose whether or not you get to pull from the monster deck. You can choose not to, and you're sort of out of the round. But if you choose to pull from the monster deck, you get to pick it up and you look at it. Don't show anyone else which monster you happen to have pulled. Now, you can choose to put the monster into the dungeon, which your hero will face with his 6 items. Or if you determine that that monster is a little too dangerous, you can put him off to the side, but you must sacrifice one of the items to keep him out of the dungeon. As the game goes on, the dungeon will fill up with monsters. If you are the last person to have touched the monster deck by putting a monster into the dungeon or by keeping one out, then you must go through the dungeon. What you then do is turn over all the cards and go through them one by one. Some of these monsters will die instantly because of one of the items that you happen to have, but some of them will not. The power of the monster will be subtracted from the health points of your character, and if you still have some health points left over by the time you get down to the very last monster, you will have survived the dungeon. If not, then another death means that you're out of the game. Good luck, adventurer. Welcome to the world of Spyfall, a game of deception and detection. In the game, you will pull out one of these decks. At the very bottom of the deck will be the spy card. Pull that and put it to the side. The other cards, you will count out the number of people that you have -1. So if there are 5 people playing, you will count out 4 cards, put them down, put the other cards to the side, and add the spy card to it. You will then shuffle the cards and deal those out to all the people. Now, for 4 of these cards, these are normal people. If you are a normal person, this normal person will see that there is a location on your card, as well as an occupation. Here, we are in a space station, and I'm a space tourist. But the spy only has the word spy on their card, so they don't know exactly where you are. As a normal person, you will ask people questions about space stations and where they are in space or other things, but you can't let the spy know exactly where you are. And so you have to be a little devious. As the spy, however, you are trying to figure out exactly where everyone else is. You can turn over your card at any time and declare where you think everyone is. If you happen to know where the location is of everyone else, you win the game. If you are a normal person, you can vote on who you think is the spy. It is a quick up or down vote. If it's not unanimous, then no, you have to keep playing. But if you are found to be the spy, or if you don't find the spy, you lose the game. And that is Spyfall. Between Two Cities is both a competitive and a cooperative city building game. At the beginning of your turn, you will pick out 7 tiles. You will look through these 7 tiles and pick out 2. The rest of the tiles you will put to your left. From the 2 tiles that you are looking at, you will then show to everyone else. Everyone shows their tiles at the same time. Now, the person on your left and the person on your right are your co-builders. In each one, you will be building a separate city. So for each of these tiles, you will be putting 1 tile on your left and 1 tile on your right. The tiles must be of the same orientation, and they must be touching each other as you're putting them together. As this goes on, you'll be grabbing the next pile, which is your partner's pile on the right, to go through, pick out 2 new piles, and pass to the next person. This will keep going until you have only 1 tile left. The 1 tile will be sent back into the box. You will then pull out these duplex tiles. The duplex tiles are actually 2 tiles sort of like stuck together. You will hand out 3 tiles to everyone at random. They will look at the tiles, they will choose 2, they will put 1 down, everyone will show their tiles, and then you will add those to your ever-growing city. The third round plays exactly like the first round, but instead of passing to your left, you will then pass to your right. At the end of the game, all the cities will be added up depending on the type of tiles as well as the configuration of the tiles that you have in each of your cities, and your final score will be that of the lowest city that you happen to have. The person with the highest lowest city will be the winner of 2 cities. Welcome to Tumult, Royale, the game where you must be the most important person in the world by building the most statues. You begin the game by figuring out how, well, ticked off your peasants are. There are numbers between 2 and 5. Depending on where you land, it will affect your next round. The next round that you go into will be a free-for-all, where all the people will put 1 arm behind them and will pick up tiles 1 at a time to figure out what resources they want to grab for themselves. Bread, marble, and workers. If you want a resource, you take it, you put it on your castle. Once the 20 seconds is up, you will turn over the rest of the resources, and you will find out if the peasants will revolt, depending on how many of those resources are left over. Let's say you hit a 3 and there's only 2 bread left. Well, they're not going to be happy. And so that means the person who has pulled the most bread than anyone else will have to give away their shares except for 1 tile. They will also lose 3 people of influence. Back to the people they go. Now, the next phase is actually building the statues. Your first statue is a freebie, but you have to play it in a pasture somewhere. But the next statue will cost you a little dough, actual dough, and workers and marble, depending on where you put it, whether in a pasture or a forest or in a town itself. As the game continues, you will then count up how much favor you happen to have. The person with the most favor then becomes the king. And the king gets to put an additional statue in the drawing room. For each round, you'll be able to put down more and more statues. But as king, you have to lose favor with the people because no one likes the king. And you will lose 5 people. As you go on, you will move from duke to earl to princess or prince, depending on how favorable you are with the people. Get enough resources, get enough statues, and get enough favor, and you can be the best person in the world.